Hello and welcome to Access Asia. Coming up in this edition, holy cow in India, where the sacred beasts are at the centre of a growing political stink. We'll be heading to one of the world's last communist countries, where training as a monk offers one way out of poverty. We profile the little-known Moken people whose semi-nomadic way of life is being put at risk by commercial fishing. We start in India, where the humble cow is proving the cause of controversy. With numbers of bovines on the up, authorities are facing a headache over what exactly to do with them. And that's not all. Cows are also at the heart of political disagreements and even lynch mob attacks. France 24's Sanam Shantai has details.
To some, they're the source of beef burgers and steak. In India, a Hindu-majority nation, however, cows are considered sacred. And they're growing in numbers, some even being abandoned. According to one census, there were more than 5 million strays across the country in 2012. Shelters can't keep up with demand. Some authorities are now considering building cow shelters inside prisons. Scores of cattle are even reported to have died from hunger in recent weeks.
Even bulls are kicked out of homes because machines and tractors have taken over their jobs. And that's why you see more and more of them on the roads.
Shunned, although they've won a near VIP status since Narendra Modi's right-wing party stormed power in 2014. Since, Hindu hardliners and so-called cow vigilantes have been increasingly asserting themselves, prompting protests by the Muslim community, as seen in this amateur footage. Some have even waged attacks on Muslim cattle traders, beef eaters and dairy farmers. Other Hindus simply believe Indians need a reminder of their heritage.
In a country of 1.25 billion people, we must raise awareness and make people understand why cows should be kept at home. We have to treat cows like a member of our family and take care of them at home.
Adding to tensions, a recent ban on the sale of cattle for slaughter. Although the boycott has now been overturned by the Supreme Court, an amended version is expected to be submitted by the end of August. Many fear this could not only have a major impact on the cow population, but it could also take a big bite out of the market. This because India is the world's second largest beef exporter.
Elsewhere, now for many teenagers, getting up before dawn to walk barefoot across town is the stuff of nightmares. But for hundreds of novice Buddhist monks in the landlocked nation of Laos, it's part of a strict daily routine. This report from the city of Luang Prabang.
Novice monks light up a gloomy dawn in northern Laos. For centuries, the daily Buddhist almsgiving has been held in the city of Luang Prabang. These trainees mostly come from poor farming villages. By joining temples, they hope to reboot their lives with an academic and spiritual education.
If the children have a problem in their villages, the family send them here, where they go to the school for monks. It calms their minds and teaches them to be better people.
Poor and landlocked, Laos is one of the world's last surviving communist countries. It's also one of the least developed in Southeast Asia. Village schools are overcrowded and under-resourced. So a few years learning to be a monk can be a ladder from poverty. But it's a life far removed from the freedoms enjoyed by average teenagers.
We wake up at 3:30 a.m. and pray. Then we receive alms, we eat lunch, clean the dishes, and walk in a procession to meditate.
After lessons, the novices return to their temples to recite Buddhist texts. It's a tough day-long routine. Eventually, some will become fully ordained monks, but many others will return to civilian life.
My family is very big and very poor, so I came here to study. I'm learning English. I want to have a good future, maybe as a doctor or in IT. I don't know yet. This is a place for me to start.
Nearly a quarter of Laotians live in poverty, and while the country struggles to develop, it is likely more young villagers will turn to the rhythms of temple life.
Next to China, where one social network is thriving despite the government's tight control of citizens' lives on smartphones and on the internet. France 24's Catherine Viette takes a look at WeChat, which has developed a monopoly with around 1 billion users.
In China, paying for a beverage with cash is seen as outdated. Now, thanks to WeChat, people can just have their phones scanned and the transactions completed. Young Chinese use this application for everything from chatting with their friends to hailing a cab, ordering movie tickets, reading a book, or paying bills. WeChat has transformed mobile phone use in China.
80% of the time when I'm looking at my phone, I'm using WeChat.
The application started as a social network like Facebook and other foreign-based apps that are banned by the Chinese government. But WeChat enjoys a close relationship with Beijing, and the government is happy to use the platform to keep an eye on what its 900 million users are sharing. Now, WeChat wants to conquer the international market.
Today, our app is translated into 20 languages. It can be used in most countries, like France.
Paris is a popular destination for Chinese tourists. WeChat has signed deals with the big department stores, the airports, and certain tourist sites like the Louvre.
The idea is to offer them the best welcome, a better understanding of the Louvre, and to reach them directly. And the best way we found to do this is to work with the WeChat app.
Each week, the museum publishes information aimed at tourists on the Chinese social network. WeChat is hoping its Chinese users around the world will help the app grow.
Next, we focus on the lives of a little-known people whose way of life is under growing threat from commercial fishing regulations and poverty. For centuries, the Moken have lived a semi-nomadic lifestyle off the coast of Burma and Thailand. But the fact that many are stateless means it's difficult for them to defend their rights. This is from France 24's Martin Pollard.
This is the Mergui archipelago. It's made up of around 800 relatively unexplored islands off the coast of Burma and Thailand in the Andaman Sea. Scattered somewhere across this region are several thousand Moken, the stateless and semi-nomadic people who for generations have spent most of their lives at sea. The Moken are notoriously hard to find, so this fisherman wished our team the best of luck.
How do you want to find the Moken? They're both everywhere and nowhere.
For several days, our team found nothing. Until one morning, a small boat approached with a crew of 7. They came to get drinking water, shellfish, and some wild berries. But soon after, they were on their way again, heading back to base. That means a handmade boat, which is the principal residence for most Moken. It's called a kabang.
Whenever I'm on land for longer than an hour, I become sad like a stone. This is our home, and the sea is our country.
Building a kabang is traditionally a coming-of-age type ritual for a Moken man. But logging restrictions brought in the late 90s means it's harder to find the materials to do this, or even to repair old ones. This family have opted for a few mod cons such as the boat's motor. But life on the kabang can be both hard and dangerous.
Look, I was bitten by a shark. It was massive.
Commercial fishing trawlers and their large nets and dynamite means food is increasingly scarce for the Moken. But their superior knowledge of the region means they're still able to find some trusty spots. Using harpoons and homemade goggles, the Moken dive down to catch delicacies from the sea floor, and if their luck is in, the odd large passerby. The children are usually tasked with gathering the smaller creatures and sea vegetables. They can do this in part thanks to their underwater eyesight, which scientists say is twice as good as that of European children their age.
There are a lot of sea cucumbers here. What a day!
Despite the chance of catches like this, more and more Moken are opting for a home closer to, if not completely on the shore. But not the family our team have followed. They're going to stick with a life on the seas for as long as they can.
Finally, in our last edition, we talked to you about a 71-year-old Korean internet sensation. So on a similar note, we're going to head to Australia this time, where a Beyonce-inspired video has understandably led to internet stardom for 3 senior citizens. The trio clocking up 1 million Facebook views with their version of the hit song Single Ladies, whose lyrics they reworked to protest against Melbourne authorities' plans to redevelop their local bowling club. Our congratulations to the inventiveness and musical talent of 82-year-olds Terry Foster and Janine Hall, and Wyn Hewitt, who's 72. And that's it for this edition.